Tales and Tunes, which is our evening of tales and stories and poetry and music and whatever else you want to share, really. Um, what do I need to say? I don't know. It's been a while. So we'll start, as we always do, with a little bit of extreme storytelling from me. So we're going to create a tale together, and then we'll go around roughly in the order that people arrived if you want to share. I will at some point remember to put my PayPal link in the chat if you would like to chuck some virtual coins in my virtual hat to support my storytelling with the Star Wars theme in the background. That was beautiful. That would be great. Okay, so let us kick off. For anyone that hasn't been before, but I think everybody has, we always start with extreme storytelling, which means I'm going to create a tale for you. And to start telling that tale, I need, first of all, you can shout it out or put it in the chat, who you would like this story to be about this evening. Characters, people, concepts. Feel free to challenge me. Luke Skywalker. Is that because we just heard Star Wars?
How about peace?
Peace.
Yes.
Concept of peace.
Something we actually all need now.
Oh, tell me about it. The American was distracted. I had a call. What are we doing? A story about peace?
Well, we're deciding who the main character in our story would be. So far, we have the options of Luke Skywalker or peace. Although peace could be the thing that Luke Skywalker is looking for. It's kind of up to
how
you
are we
guys.
spelling peace? P-E-A-C-E or P-I-E-C-E?
I was thinking P-E-A-C-E.
All right, well, I want a piece of that piece.
Okay, so shall we have the character of peace then and see what they want in this story? Okay. Let's go
that would
for that.
appease me.
All right, so the next thing, as you know, that we need to know is, and this feels like it's getting really meta, but we're going to go for it, guys. What does peace want more than anything in the world? If everybody wants peace, what does peace want?
Weekends off.
Weekends off.
You took it right out of my mouth, Norman. Stop that.
I'm just, the idea is that peace wants peace. From being on the job all the time. So
peace wants to not have
to win.
To
win.
Yeah.
Okay then, and peace is happy when it's flying.
Okay, cool. Oh, and we've got truth as well. So peace wants to win, wants truth. We'll see what happens. Okay.
So this story, we're going to piecemeal it together.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to stop.
Wish me luck. It's all right. I've been working in primary schools this week, so I've got kids' imaginations in my head.
You
so
too?
I'm fine. Yeah. And the last thing we need to decide is who or what is going to get in the way of peace winning and not having to work so hard to exist.
I almost said the wrong thing.
Lawyers.
All I'll say is number 47.
Lawyers will get in the way.
Lawyers. Oh, yeah. Okay. So lawyers are trying to get in the way of peace winning and having their weekends off from trying to fight so hard to exist. Okay. Wish me luck, we're going in. So as this goes, I will carry on telling, and when I need an idea, I will stop and ask you guys, and you can shout it out, put it in the chat, whatever you want to do. And I will try and keep an eye on everything. I've realized the one thing I have not done is share this on the Facebook group for people that want to watch on there. Hold on 1 second while I just keep the thought of peace in my head.
You got to hold on.
Hang on, here we go. All right, I'm going to share that to the Tales and Tunes group, and then no one will complain at me because I haven't done it. All right. We are good, I think. All right. Once upon a time, there was a concept. And the concept was a very happy concept. It was the concept of peace. And the concept of peace had been here since before time began and will be here long after time has finished. But peace was tired. Peace was having to work so hard just to exist in the world, in people's hearts, in anything that was going on. And she thought, what I really need in order to just make things a little bit easier is I just need to have a weekend off, you know? I just need somebody else to step up and maybe take the reins a little bit so that I, Peace, can be at peace and not have to work quite so hard. So Peace was sitting there on a little cloud where concepts live, and she thought, who can I ask to help me out so that I won't have to work so hard, so I can take some time off? So if you were a concept of peace and you were sitting on your little cloud, who might you ask for help to begin with? Let's have some ideas where she can go.
I thought I had one. Peace.
To God.
Who would I ask to step up to the plate?
I would have a companion.
Uh-huh.
And by the name of Quiet.
Quiet. Okay.
Oh,
Then you have Peace and
Peace and Quiet.
I've also got
You have
God,
your
Darth
P's and
Vader,
Q's.
or the God. I feel like I want to go with. I'm going to hold on to Darth Vader for later, though. I think the Goddess of Quiet feels like. Let's combine those two things.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So Peace decided that she would go and see the Goddess of Quiet. The Goddess of Quiet that was things that keeps everything calm and was always completely silent. I've just created a completely silent character in an Orwell story. Wish me luck. So, Peace on her little cloud, she flew across the sky until she reached the palace of the Goddess of Quiet. And it was so still and quiet like nothing she had experienced before. And she was Peace. She had experienced a lot of quiet. And she tiptoed off her cloud and she went up to the Goddess of Quiet. And she couldn't say anything because the Goddess of Quiet was quiet and you had to be quiet. So, with some elaborate sign language that I don't know, but the concept of Peace does, and the Goddess does, she asked the Goddess of Quiet, Goddess of Quiet, I am tired. I have been working so hard to exist, and the people on the world below don't seem to want me. I mean, some of them say they want me, but they don't do things so that I can exist, and I just really need some time off. And the Goddess of Quiet thought, and she stroked her thinky beard, because that's how people think in my stories. And she said, in her quiet voice, she said, I think there are people down below that are causing trouble. And there are many different groups of people down below that are causing trouble, but one of the biggest problems is the lawyers. They're the people that make the money out of people arguing. So maybe you need to go down and find some lawyers and see if you can get them to be like you, the concept of peace. And then maybe at least you can have a couple of days off, you know? So that's exactly what she did. She headed down. Now, where is a good place to find some lawyers in the world? Where do you think?
Next to an ambulance.
Next to
Oh, you got that.
we?
Okay.
Yeah. Where do we find a lot of ambulances then?
Courtroom.
So, Peace headed down to Earth on her little cloud. And she started looking around until she found a courtroom. Whereabouts in the world are we? What courtroom shall we be in? What courts shall we be in?
Well, we're not going to be in America.
Let's not be there.
No.
Let's find a city to be in where all the courts are. What do you think?
Toronto.
Toronto. Norman, we're coming to Toronto. Cool. All right. But also we might have to go to Dublin later. So she settled on her.
I'm next to a fire station here.
Okay. So she settled on her little cloud and she found the courtrooms in Toronto. And she thought, well, this is a place. The Canadian people are nice. Maybe these are the lawyers that I can reason with. So she went into the chambers where the lawyers were. And they said, oh, the concept of peace. We don't see you very often around here. And she said, yes, that's what I'm here about. She said, I have to work 7 days a week with all the different people that are trying to stop me existing. And I thought maybe if you could help me exist, if there was more peace in your world, at least I could maybe take the weekend off. And the lawyers thought about it and they said, yeah, but if people were peaceful, then they wouldn't need lawyers. You need to find something else for us to do. Otherwise, I'm afraid we can't help you. So what else do you think peace could suggest for the lawyers to do?
Chase ambulances.
She said, have you tried chasing ambulances? The lawyer said, yes, we do that all the time, and it doesn't really help with the concept of peace. Peace didn't know what to do next. She said, I need to get some help. I need to get some help so that the lawyers are working less, but they're happy, and then I will have at least weekends off. So, who can we ask for help next? We are outside the courtroom in Toronto. Who might be able to help us and let peace have a bit of peace at the weekend? Where shall we go next? Who shall we ask?
People join in because you know I got something.
I can see if there's anything else in the chat. A butterfly. Yes, I'm going to go and ask a butterfly. So,
I have a question. If butterflies, does margarine walk?
and that's a riddle for another time. So, peace, the concept of peace went out into the street, and she saw, landing on a bush just outside the courtroom, a beautiful butterfly. A very beautiful butterfly. I don't even know this about butterflies. Butterflies look like their color, but they're actually just different ridges that make that light. When you shine through them, they're just brown. They're amazing things. And so the concept of peace said to the butterfly, you are an amazing thing, and you always seem peaceful. Who can teach me about how I can keep these lawyers from making less peace so that I can have the weekends off? And the butterfly, of course, fluttered and fluttered across the streets of Toronto until she landed on a tree outside a school. And inside that school, there were lots of children playing. And those children were sitting down and they were telling stories to each other, and they were throwing a ball to each other, and they were the most peaceful thing. So the concept of peace sat upon her cloud and looked around at the children. And she wondered, maybe the children could convince the lawyers to be less argumentative, to take more time, to do less fighting, to get people to reconcile more often. And so she asked them. She said, children, I am the concept of peace. And the children said, we know, because we're children. We know what peace is like. We don't always keep it, but we do know what it is. She said, I wonder if you could help me. I'd like to have the weekends off. The world is pretty busy at the moment, and I'm having to fight just for my existence. And I wondered if we could just keep the lawyers from making things worse, then maybe I could have the weekends off. And the children said, well, of course. We always enjoy your company, the concept of peace. Let us go and see if we can get the lawyers to play with us. Because maybe if the lawyers are happy, then they won't cause as many fights. So that's exactly what happened. The children and the concept of peace went through the streets of Toronto back to the courtrooms. And the children decided to come up with the best games they could possibly do to try and make the lawyers play. Now, if you were a little child and you were trying to get a lawyer to come up with the most playful thing, entice them to come and play, what games do we think the lawyers might play instead of starting fights? What should we try? Tetris. Twister. Okay, let's try Tetris first. So the children had brought their time, like when I was a kid, I had a Tetris on like a thing, and it was the only game that it played, like from the 80s. So they had one of those because that's what Tetris is in my head. And they said, lawyers, we bought you Tetris. Try it and see if it makes you happier so you don't cause as many fights. And so the lawyers came out and they tried the game of Tetris. And the thing with Tetris is sometimes it chills you out, sometimes you just get annoyed with it. And it wasn't long before the lawyers weren't unstressed. They were just kind of more cross. So they said, maybe we need to do something physical. If they get into their bodies, then maybe that will stop them being as argumentative. So the children brought out a twister mat. And the concept of peace spun the spinner. And the lawyers, that's just the weirdest thing. The lawyers were playing Tetris, not Tetris, they were playing Twister outside the courtrooms in Toronto, but, well, they were a little bit old and they were a little bit out of shape, and it wasn't long before they were falling on top of each other. And then there was litigation left, right, and centre. Well, the children thought, we probably have one last attempt, because things go in threes, to do something that will bring peace to the lawyers. That mean they will play together cooperatively. Lovelies and gentle humans, what might that game be?
I know the game.
Norman, tell us the game.
Toffee eating contest.
That's a sticking
toughest
with you.
toffee in the world.
So the children said, we know what will keep the lawyers occupied and smiling. And they had brought for them from their cookery class that day some beautiful toffee that they'd made. And they cut it up and they gave it to everybody. And they said, your job is to savour this sweetest toffee for the longest time. And the longer that you savour this toffee, the more peace there will be. Well, the lawyers, because they'd been working so hard, they'd forgotten to eat. And so they were really happy just to have something to eat. And they each took the toffee and they put it in their mouth. They began to chew and chew and chew. And with every chew, the beautiful taste of the toffee filled their mouths. And they forgot quite what they were doing. And they sat there chewing and chewing and eating the toffee until they were quite at peace. And so the concept of peace said thank you to the children and asked the children if possibly on every Friday afternoon they could bring some toffee to the lawyers. And then the lawyers would be at peace and she could at least have the weekends off. And the children promised that they would. And that is how the concept of peace, with the help of the children of Toronto, managed to get her weekends off. The end! Thank you. That was very strange and very beautiful. And now I want to eat toffee. Thank you for all your suggestions. I didn't manage to get Darth Vader in there, but I feel like I want to. Although I have to say, Darth Vader has already been in a story that one of the children did this week, and like he was amazing. It was so cool. So I will share that one with you later, May. All right. We are going to go around roughly in the order people came in. And Pelagie, you were here first. Do you have a tale to share, or what do you want to do?
I've got a couple of poems, not a story.
Fabulous.
Poems are stories without the fluff.
Yes.
That's true. All right. I have spotlighted
you.
you. Off you go, Pelagie.
Right, that's lovely. And okay, can everybody mute, please?
Yes.
And I'll have a cough before I start. This one is called Forefathers. Here they went with smock and crook, toiled in the sun, lolled in the shade. Here they muddied out the brook, and here their hatchet cleared the glade. Harvest supper woke their wit. Huntsman's moon their wooings lit. From this church they led their brides. From this church themselves were led, shoulder high. On these waysides sat to take their beer and bread. Names are gone, what men they were, these their cottagers declare. Names are vanished, save the few in the old brown Bible scrawled. These were men of pith and thew, whom the city never called. Scarce could read or hold a quill, built the barn, the forge, the mill. On the green they watched their sons, playing till too dark to see, as their fathers watched them once, as my father once watched me, while the bat and beetle flew on the warm air webbed with dew. Unrecorded, unrenowned, men from whom my ways begin, here I know you by your ground, but I know you not within. There is silence, there survives not a moment of your lives. Like the bee that now is blown, honey heavy in my hand, from his toppling tansy throne, in the green tempestuous land. I'm in clover now, nor know who made honey long ago. That was Forefathers by Edmund of London.
Thank you. That was fabulous. Did you say you have another one?
Yeah, I've got one which I feel goes with it. It's called Rest Quiet.
Lovely. Share that.
Tumbled graves in a neglected churchyard, rank with weeds. Sow thistle and shepherd's purse, vying with white cow parsley and broad-leafed dock. Ivy cloaks of fallen cedar. While jackdaws, like shabby vergers in workday cassocks, go about their business. And magpies hold chattering parliament on the chancel roof. Tall grasses rattle seed heads in a sighing breeze between the forgotten graves. And a grass snake, innocent relative of that sweet-tongued serpent, absorbs the sun by a dry stone wall. Inside the church, the echoes of past hymns, a lingering smell of incense on fair linen, a sense of peace, of prayerful silence. The years lie heavy on these stones, memories of generations past. Wheelwright and labourer, merchant and landed squire, who came to celebrate a birth or mourn a death, seeking comfort and guidance, the answers to questions, united, if only briefly, in this place, in communion with those who went before. And now we strive to find ourselves, bring meaning to our lives, pursuing baubles and the world's scant praise, the shallow joy of each new thing, ephemeral and needless when we already have enough. So, pause, step back, embrace the peace of this sacred space. Enter into the stillness to find yourself in silence. Rest quiet. Thank you.
That was lovely. Who was that by again?
Well, the first one was Edmund Blunden. The second one was Nicola Carter. I'll put the details in chat.
Oh, yes, please do. That'd be lovely. Thank you so much, Perdu.
That was
Those were
beautiful.
beautiful. Oh, love that. All right. Next up on my list is Baba C. Do you have a tale to tell?
Do I have a tale to tell? Is water wet? So actually, I want to share a personal story. I don't think I've shared it on this platform, but I'm sure I shared it on another World Storytelling Cafe.com platform. But I want to share the story. So way back in my youth, when my beard was black and I had hair under my kufi, the summer I was 17, just graduated out of high school, and I became what they call residential counselor. Right. Now I did this camp twice, so I'm not sure which time this took place, so I'm not, in fact, I shouldn't even have brought that up. But anyhow, so one of the things that we had, one of the rules were, the cabinets could not go to the mess hall without their counselor. Okay? And the other rule was they had to shower before they went to the mess hall. Because they were boys. That's all I got to say. Well, they're city kids. First of all, they were complaining because they didn't have any music, they didn't have electronics, as they were back then, and they didn't want to get up early. But for some reason, we went on a walkabout, and during the walkabout, we discovered a patch of blackberries. Yum. And the kids tasted some blackberries. And I wasn't worried because these were wild blackberries. They didn't have any pesticide on them. You could eat them fresh. And I had a few, and the kids had, and they were getting scratched, but they loved the blackberries. They were having a good time. I said, okay, guys, we got to go back, got to shower, got to get ready, go to the mess hall. On the way back, some of the kids said, hey, can we collect blackberries tomorrow and have blackberry pie? I said, I'll ask Cook, because there are 3 things you know about a cook. And all 4 of them is, it's their kitchen. Nobody else. All right. Cook can even talk back to the head administration, because if you fire a cook, who's going to eat? Okay. So that evening when we went to the mess hall, I caught Cook, who took a shine to me because her son was in the program, and I made sure no one picked on him. And I said, my boys want to go blackberry hunting, blackberry picking in the morning, and they want to know if they can have a blackberry pie for dessert. She said, well, they're your boys, right? I said, yes. Okay, well, I'm going into town to get supplies. I'll get supplies for making pie crust, because everything she did was from scratch. And so that's what she did. And she said, and 2 of your men can come into my kitchen to help prepare dessert. 2. So we got extra early the next morning. And we went to the patch. Now you have to understand, blackberries they grow in thorny patches. So you had to be very careful not to. But we picked a lot of blackberries. She gave us the big cans that industrial foods come in, and we picked because you have to pick more blackberries than you need because some of them you can't use. So these boys, they were on a blackberry picking frenzy, and they picked all these blackberries. We took them up to the mess hall. We had to run back down. We had to shower and come back up. Okay. So after breakfast, she let 2 of the guys come into the kitchen. They were excused from the other activities for the day, and they made blackberry pies from scratch. Now, I forgot to mention something. I invited the other cabinets to go with us, and all their counselors and all the participants said no. Okay, but we invite you to go with us. So now they can smell this dessert, this fresh homemade blackberry pie being made. And Cook says, for dinner, Mr. C's cabin is having blackberry pie. The rest of you are not having blackberry pie, so don't ask. He invited you to go picking blackberries, and you all said no. If I see you trying to take blackberry pie from this table, I will shut down lunch. No, dinner. Dinner. Okay, and she said it very, very matter-of-factly. She didn't raise her voice like I just did. So they were upset. It's not fair. It's not fair. Did you go pick blackberries? Well, no. Then, okay. But I had made arrangements for at least one blackberry pie to be made for the administrative staff. So that was for the head of the camp, her husband, who happened to be the aquatic teacher, and other, all the specials, well, most of the specials, they had a pie to share. My table had 2 or 3 pies. And there was one cabinet that we considered our brother cabinet. We talked her into allowing them to have 1 pie. All right. She said, but there will be no sharing of pies with other tables. If I see you sharing pies, I'm taking the pie. So that evening, after dinner, all this wonderful aroma of blackberry pies was just wafting everywhere. I mean, it's making me hungry just thinking about it. So she brings out the blackberry. She has our guys bring out the blackberry pies for our table. I'm gonna say there were 3 of them, and then they took one over to the administrative staff table, and then one to our brother. Notice I didn't say sister. Our brother cabinet, because they were dudes. But they only got it because he was in her good grace and in mine, so he was allowed to share his pie with his cabinet. But he gave them real tiny slices because they didn't get up in the morning and go collect. Well, if having blackberry pie wasn't enough, Cook brought out a big thing of vanilla ice cream and put scoops of vanilla ice cream on top of every slice of pie at my table. And now the kids were really upset. It's not fair. Did you get up to go collect? No. Were you invited? Yes, but no, it was too early. Then you don't. So we ate so much blackberry pie, and what she didn't tell me until after dinner was over was, I got 2 more pies, maybe 3, in the kitchen for you guys to have for dessert late tonight. So after the camp is settled down, come up to the mess hall, and there'll be more blackberry pie and ice cream for your kids only, and you. And so that's my story of blackberry pie, a story of kids coming together. They say it takes a village to raise a child. First, it takes a village to be a village, and sometimes it takes a child to make a village realize it's a village. Asante.
Thank you, Brother C. That was lovely. I love blackberries as well.
Now I'm
I
in the
would
mood for
I would have been
blackberry
up.
pie.
It's
We
like
invited them. They didn't want to
it's
go.
like the red hen story, though, isn't it? When little red
Yes.
hen makes the bread, and the
Yes.
cat, and they won't do it, and then little red hen goes, "Oh, I'm not going to share the bread with you." There are some versions where she does, and I just won't tell them.
See,
If you don't get involved, no. I have remembered to put my PayPal thing in the chat if anyone's feeling rich, generous,
oh
and any of
yes.
that stuff. I've done that now. Okay, who was next in? May, are you with us? Do you have to go at a certain time? I can't remember what your timings were.
I should be right. I'm not terribly well, but I'll try and stay to the end. I've got my scarf.
Bless you. Shall we? Because I think I had Norman in next, but shall we let May go now, just in case she's poorly and then kind of can't stay to the end? I know the feeling. All right,
Oh,
let's
May,
welcome.
pardon me for this, but yes, you may let May go next. And her scarf reminded me of how I ate that blackberry pie. I scarfed it down. Okay, I'm muted.
Beautiful. You done? All right, May, you're up. Go for it.
Right. Okay, so I read a bit of my novel last time, so most of you weren't there, but the novel is called The Shakespeare Ladies Club. I'm going to have to change the view because I can see my big stupid face and no one else.
That's all right. You change it for you.
That's much better.
There you go.
Right, so yes, so the novel is called The Women Who Saved Shakespeare, and it's based on the historical true story of the women who kind of rescued his reputation when everyone else sort of thought he was a bit thick and a bit flawed and a bit rubbish. So they kind of saved Shakespeare. And this is the point in the novel. This is actually chapter 31. And the two main characters, Elizabeth and Susanna, had this huge fight and haven't spoken for 4 years. But Susanna is invited to a Shakespeare meeting, a Shakespeare women's meeting. So she writes to Elizabeth to invite her. Right, chapter 31. September the 12th, 1736. Dear Elizabeth, I was so happy to receive your letter. It has been so long since I received word from you. I'm most intrigued about your private matter. Whatever it is, I will do my best to help if such a thing is within my power. Of course, you are very welcome to visit any time you desire. Don't worry about seeing the Earl. Currently he is staying with friends in the country, a hunting party, I believe, and afterwards he must go abroad on business. Your letter could not have come at a better time. First of all, I am lonely, and have been for several weeks. Secondly, there is no one I would rather see, and thirdly, I have been invited to a meeting this coming Friday at Montague House, which I am sure will be of great interest to you. I know this may hold some trepidation for you, but when I explain the nature of it, I am sure you will be able to set any fears aside. It is to discuss the works of Mr. William Shakespeare. That is what it said on the invitation. The Duchess already knows my passion and is keen that I should invite any other persons who have a particular liking for him. Who could be better than yourself? My cousin Lady Burlington will be there, and it is hoped the writer Miss Eliza Haywood will be able to attend. I'm sure the pair of you will get on famously. I will send a carriage to collect you at 11 o'clock on Tuesday. That way we can spend some time getting reacquainted before journeying to Montague House. Please say you will come. Either way, I will send the carriage, so you might as well make use of it. Think how silly the coachman will feel otherwise, and consider the poor horses. Please, excuse my levity. I cannot resist, such is my anticipation. Yours affectionately, Susanna. And this next bit's in the voice of Elizabeth. When Tuesday arrived, it was with trembling legs and an uneasy stomach that I stood at the front of our house. I longed to see Susanna, but I felt quite terrified by the prospect of having to see the Duchess of Montague once more. But Susanna was right. I was curious about the meeting and could not miss the chance of perhaps being introduced to the infamous Mrs. Haywood. 2 minutes before 11 o'clock, I heard the thunder of horses' hoofs and the bright jangle of bridle reins. Despite my rough treatment 4 years earlier, the coachmen were all gentleness and perfect politeness. I was in no doubt that Susanna had especially asked them to treat me well, and I offered up a silent prayer of gratitude for her kindness. For the first time since the attack in St. James's Park, I felt the weight of my heart lift just a little. A short carriage ride later, I found myself at the door of her house. From there I was immediately shown into Susanna's private parlour. I trust you had a comfortable journey, she said, rising out of her seat. Yes, thank you. Very pleasant, I said. Susanna stood, smiling awkwardly. I smiled back, unsure what to do or say next. "Shall we sit?" she asked at last. Gratefully I perched myself on her velvet sofa. I was just about to speak when Susanna dashed across the room to ring the servant's bell. "Tea?" "Yes, that would be very pleasant, thank you." "And biscuits?" she said. "We have almond ones." "Yes, thank you." We waited silently, shyly avoiding each other's eyes until the tea tray was brought. Then we watched as the maidservant poured it, adding cream and sugar as requested. Next I was offered a plate of biscuits, from which I took one despite not being hungry. I sipped at my too hot tea and nibbled delicately at my almond biscuit as the maidservant curtsied to Susanna and then gently closed the door behind herself. For lack of something to say, I looked around at the room, at the portraits, the curtains, and the very fine mahogany furniture. "So the Earl is absent?" I said, attempting to break the silence. "Yes," Susanna said, her head bowed. "He has not spent much time at home lately. I suppose he is very busy." "Yes," Susanna agreed. "That is what he says." I set my cup down in its saucer. "But you do not believe him?" Susanna sighed and gave a small shrug. I recalled the prediction the Duchess had made. In 5 years, if she doesn't bear him a son, the Earl will wish she was dead. If it were true, Susanna only had 1 year left. Gently I took her hand, at last finding the confidence to look her directly in the eyes. "Tell me," I said. With just those 2 words, there was no more contrivance, no more awkwardness. From there our conversation flowed like fine silk. Together we wove again the threads of our friendship. There were threads of all colours, pale greys of sorrow and guilt, soft violets of melancholia, golden threads of hope and love, and a whole rainbow besides. All these threads were woven together with love, patience, and female dexterity until the cloth was wide and warm enough to cover us both.
Oh, that imagery of the silk threads at the end, just so beautiful. Ah, thank you. When's the book out? Remind us again.
28th of May.
28th. We've got to wait for the 28th of May to read the rest of it. Thank you so much for sharing it with us, though. That's just lovely. Oh, so exciting. I love it. Thank you. Okay, so next on my list of people that I believe is Norman. Norman, do you have a tale to tell?
Yeah. Bye, everybody. Got to
Oh,
go.
bye, Pelosi.
Take
I know you
care.
got to go.
Thanks.
Thank
It
you.
was
Thank you for
wonderful
your
seeing you.
poem.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. See you
Take
next
care.
time.
See you next time, Pelosi.
Yeah, next time.
Norman, you
You're
need to
mute now,
unmute
Norman,
yourself.
and we can't wait to hear your nickel whistle. You
There
knew
you
that was
go.
coming from me, Norman. You knew that.
So, well, I have a couple stories which I'm not too sure which to tell.
Oh.
One's about children and peace, and the other one is about pie.
Ah,
But I may have time for both of them. Who knows?
we might do, yeah.
Well, play a piece while I'm deciding what.
Mm-hmm.
Once a long time ago, there was a monastery that was full of hard-working, very pious monks, and they did work in the herbaceous herb gardens to grow herbs for the people. They also in the scriptorium, and we're reaching for my vocabulary, scriptorium, where they'd write out the good words and sometimes the words that went far back into the past. But one of the stories that they wrote down is this story about Brother John, which you will see if it has a lesson for us or not. Well, once upon a time, Brother John loved going past the kitchen because there's the most delicious smells always coming from the kitchens, and maybe they could have a little help with tasting what was being made or whatever. He was very helpful that way. And one day, as Brother John was going past the kitchen, there was five pies laying to laid out for cooling on a table. And just that morning, there had been a sermon about how important that the four Gospels were, and that the four Gospels teach us and we learn. And here there was a place with five pies. And he thought to himself, if people saw four pies instead of five pies, why, they would think of the four holy books and therefore become a little more holy. So I think I'll eat one of those pies to encourage people to think of the four good books. And what no sooner thought than done. Much down went the pie. And I'm not too sure what kind of pie it was. I do believe it was a berry pie, a blueberry pie. I wish I had a blueberry pie right now, but they're out of season. So there was Brother John. He went on his way. But on his way back from the gardens, the pies were still sitting, four of them. And he thought to himself, four is a good number. But if there was three pies there, they would think of the Trinity. And so he decided, if I eat one pie, people will see that, think of three, and they'll think good thoughts. And so he took one of the four pies, and there was three pies left, and he went on his way. And this time, he went on his way back to work in the farmyards. But when he came back, he was hungry. And the pies were still sitting on that table, three of them. And he thought, there are three pies there. Well, if people saw those pies and that there's only two of them, they would think upon the thought of good and evil. And, well, if they think about good and evil, then I will eat a pie, so people are encouraged to think good thoughts. So he ate one of the pies, and now there's two left, both representing, what do they represent? Good and evil. Well, back from there, of course, as I said, he loved going past that kitchen, and there he was, seeing the pies, for some strange reason, were still sitting there, and all two of them. And he thought, those two pies can make people think of good and evil. He says, if I ate one of those pies, there would be one left, and therefore that would make them think of good. So I'll eat one of the pies. And he ate the one pie. And as he ate the pie, there was one pie left. And he says, good and evil. Those pies, that pie makes me think of good and evil. And one must always choose good in our lives. And that pie looks very good indeed. And so no sooner than the thought than the deed itself, and down John went the final pie, and there's nothing there left at all. And that was a very good thing indeed. So this story, by the way, was inspired by a fellow Torontonian. And yes, I'm sorry, I forgot the last line. And so Brother John went on his way full of pie and piety. So, and the story was inspired by a friend, and his name, this is his true name, his name is John O'Pie.
That's so cool. It's really, there's a very famous Suffolk story where the girl eats 5 pies, and that's like the start of the story. So
that story is sister to that tale. And John O did come to a Friday night, and I had this idea of John O'Pie.
Fabulous. Love it. Thank you so much, Norman.
Pies are usually round, and that story gets around.
I loved all the puns.
You know why pies were round? because people couldn't get a square meal.
Oh, you got it in before I did. Yes, you're right.
Okay, then.
We're going with all fun.
I'm not going to tell it this time, but if it comes around, I have one more story for if it comes around the time, a story about children and peace.
Ah, lovely. We'll go round and then we'll come back to you. So Evita had to go, didn't she? Which
She's
means
gone.
next person I have on my list is David. David, do you have something to share with us tonight?
Yeah, sure I do, Justin.
Oh.
Um, that
What's
was
your
all very.
background today, David?
Uh,
Oh, you got daffodils.
Indeed.
Oh,
It is, after all, just after St. David's Day, and
exactly.
the daffodil being the national emblem of Wales. And I have a couple of story poems which relate to that.
Fabulous. Bless you,
Bless.
Bob.
Sorry about that.
It's probably the pollen.
From the daffodils.
It's
Oh, that
catching.
strange pollution coming down from the White House.
Could be either.
Let's not go there, please, please, please.
Oh dear.
Right. The first is a little story poem by Gillian Clarke, the Welsh poet. It tells of a miracle on St. David's Day. It was based on a true experience of hers where she was reading a poem or poems at a local mental institution, and the effect of the poems on one of the residents, who was actually inspired by part of the Daffodils by Wordsworth, which you all know. They flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. An afternoon, yellow and open-mouthed with daffodils. The sun treads the path amongst cedars and enormous oaks. It might be a country house, guests strolling, the rumps of gardeners between nursery shrubs. I am reading poetry to the insane. An old woman interrupting offers as many buckets of coal as I need. A beautiful chestnut-haired boy listens, entirely absorbed. A schizophrenic. On a good day, they tell me later. In a cage of 1st March sun, a woman sits, not listening, not seeing, not feeling. In her neat clothes, the woman is absent. A big, mild man is tenderly led to his chair. He has never spoken. His labourer's hands on his knees, he rocks gently to the rhythms of the poems. I read to their presences, absences, to the big, dumb, labouring man as he rocks. He is suddenly standing, silently, huge and mild, but I feel afraid. Like slow movement of spring water, or the first bird of the year in the breaking darkness, the labourer's voice recites the daffodils. The nurses are frozen, alert. The patients seem to listen. He is hoarse, but word perfect. Outside, the daffodils are still as wax. 1,000, 10,000, their syllables unspoken, their creams and yellows still. 40 years ago, in a Valleys school, the class recited poetry by rote. Since the dumbness of misery fell, he has remembered there was a music of speech, and that once he had something to say. When he's done, before the applause, we observe the flowers' silence. A thrush sings, and the daffodils are flame.
Thank you. That's beautiful.
That was Miracle on St. David's Day by Gillian Clarke.
Gillian Clarke.
Now I have a short antidote to that.
Go for it.
This is by Lynn Walton. It's called Sodding Daffodils. It's a poem by an out-of-patience Mrs. Wordsworth. He's wandering about with those lonely clouds, worried they'll get depressed and down. He thinks that therapy might be the remedy, a listening ear up in the troposphere. It's because of those daffodil bulbs he ate. I told him they'd make him hallucinate. Now he thinks that every vale and hill is strewn with bloody daffodils. He thinks they flutter, he thinks they dance, he sees 10,000 at a glance. He sees them in crowds, he sees them in hosts, he sees them in the bay whereupon they float. I've tried to rekindle my youth's first flush, to be wanton in my bedly advances, but I'm outdone by those yellow tarts, tossing their heads in sprightly dances. He says his nethers with pleasure fill as he frolics with the daffodils. He wants to write a poem for them. He wants it to be recited. He wants it on the literature syllabus. He wants daffodil excitement to be a legal requirement. He wants Coleridge forgotten and Keats unquoted, and for calling Turdsworth, he wants Byron unspoken. Oh, and he wants to be poet laureate. He comes skipping home from his floral affairs, gives me a wink, and invites me upstairs. Come to bed, Mary, for I have founded the romantic period. I say, Will, love, periods have never been romantic, so tonight you haven't really got a chance. But Mary, my daffodil ode is beginning to flow, so I'll treat you to my body most glorious. This poem will make me insta-famous and my rivals utterly furious. He recites with pride that classic first line. I wandered by myself as a miserable cumulonimbus. As usual, I'll do the rewrite of his endless shite, and my name will be lost to his fame.
Very
David.
good.
David, everyone's always talking about antidotes. What about the Uncle Dotes?
I've often wondered that myself, Babasi.
Who knows? Maybe
Where the
that's
time
another
goes.
story for another time. Thank you. Okay, Jevon, do you have something to share tonight? Oh, you have to unmute yourself first.
Yeah, I'm just getting there. Right, yeah, well, I'm on the tunes bit, not the tales bit.
Yay! We needed tunes.
Now,
Fabulous.
this is when my brother was at music college, well, sort of only a casual course, three evenings a week, and I used to go over on a Monday and help him do his homework, and this was started out as a little piece for the college, but I turned it into a full-blown song some years later, and it's a bit early in the day to be doing it, but hey,
You're good.
you'll get it, yeah. Whoa, whoa, baby, won't you please give me one more chance? Now that the night is nearly over. Whoa, whoa, baby, couldn't we take that final dance to show that our love ain't really over? Whoa, whoa, baby, couldn't we take one more chance now that the night's nearly over? Whoa, whoa, baby, couldn't you give me one more chance to show that our love ain't really over? I may not be the apple of your eye, that ain't to say that I don't care. I sometimes wish that you would recognize my love for you will always be there. When I think of all the times I tried to say goodbye, you would always turn to me and you'd cry. But now I find you want to go no matter how I try. Or how am I supposed to say goodbye? Won't you please give me one more chance now that the night is nearly over? Whoa, whoa, baby, couldn't we take that final dance to show that our love ain't really over? There we go.
Oh, that's beautiful, Devon.
Very
Forgotten how
nice.
much I love. Oh, your chord progressions are just gorgeous.
Oh, well, thank
Gorgeous.
you.
That was neat.
Love it.
Really neat.
Thank you.
Love it. Have you got another one? I feel like we need more.
You want another one? Okay.
Shall we have one more? What do we think, guys? Yeah, there's a thumbs up. We need more.
Thumbs up.
I'm
I'll give
tempted
you
to
a
join
sign
you
this
with my.
time round.
I've got a bit of a comedy song, which it's actually written by a friend of mine. It's his original. This was 1976, and he was stuck in a traffic jam on his way to a rehearsal. He was a singer in guitarist in a punk band at the time, and he hated country music. He was a young punk, you know, and but he got stuck in this traffic jam and literally wasn't going anywhere. So he got his guitar out and he wrote this song.
Wow.
There's a girl in Oklahoma, queen of all the bars. She's pretty as a picture, just like the movie star. But she's always horizontal, do what she does best. With the left leg pointing to the east and the right leg to the west. Oh, you can't keep your legs together, baby, that's the truth. You got 14 kids today, well now honey, well there's the proof. When the whiskey starts flowing and it's time to hit the sack, you gotta keep your legs together and don't lie on your back. Well, I remember back in high school, you were the queen of sport. All the fellas in the football team, well, they never did go short. You you'd show off with your golden curls. When I have heard it said, honey, we've all seen them golden curls, but they ain't on your head. Oh, 'cause you can't keep your legs together, baby, that's the truth. You got 14 kids to date, well now, honey, well there's the proof. When the whiskey starts flowing and it's time to hit the sack, you gotta keep your legs together and don't die on your back. Now you're getting older, things are getting rough. Just trying to find a fella, well, it's getting mighty tough. 'Cause the distance in between your legs is like the great divide. You're gonna need a walking frame, and they ain't made that wide. Oh, you can't keep your legs together, baby, that's the truth. You got 14 kids to date, well now, honey, there's the proof. When the whiskey starts flowing and it's time to hit the sack, you gotta keep your legs together and don't die on your back. Come on now, keep your legs together and don't lie on your back. I said now keep your legs together and don't lie on your back. There we go, very silly song.
Beautiful. Very silly song. Well done.
And
That was fun.
it's rude
That
by
was-
inference, but not a single rude word in it.
Okay. May, you had a question.
Yeah, I'm feeling a bit rough.
Oh,
But
bless you.
nice to see everyone. But yeah, I'm going to duck out early, I think.
That's fine,
Oh.
lovely. Yeah. Thank you for staying as long
Oh.
as you did. I appreciate it.
Take
Get
care
bet-
of
Get
yourself.
better soon, May.
Take care, lovely.
Bye.
All right. Bye
Take
bye.
care.
Okay. So I've got my song. Do you want some more music since I'm here?
Yeah,
I have been.
I can give you a song next time round.
Cool.
Go
Okay.
on then, give us a song.
Let's go for it. So I have, like, for those of you that have been here, like, for the last couple of times, I was saying I wanted more crow songs in my life. So I went and did a bit of research, and I've learnt Twa Corbies, which I really love because, like, for those of you that heard, like, pretty much the only folk song that I know, the Border Widow's Lament, it feels like it's set in the same time period and even has some of the same lines. And I'm going to try and play it with the Baran, which we'll see if it comes out. I don't know how much kind of rhythms come out. But yeah, it feels like it's, when I kind of went and researched it, it seems like it's a pretty well-known song. But I like it, so I'm going to sing it. Hang on, shall I spot myself? Hold on a second. There we go. Yeah, so I think it comes from the same time period as the Border Widow's Lament. So it was a time when James the Sixth of Scotland had just become James I of England, and the border reivers that he had used to kind of like as kind of guns for hire in the battles between Scotland and England were a bit of kind of an embarrassment to him. So he just used to kind of go up and kill people without trial, basically. It was called Jeddart Justice because it was kind of around the River Jed. So I feel like this kind of comes from a similar time period to that. It seems to have a lot of similar themes. Anyway, let's see. As I was walking all the lane, I heard Twa Corbies macking a main, the ta'en unto the t'other say, where shall we gang and dine the day? Where shall we gang and dine the day? In behind yon old failed dyke, I wot there lies a new slain knight, and naebody kens that he lies there, oh, but his hawk and his hound and his lady fair, oh, his hawk and his hound and his lady fair. His hound is to the hunting game, his hawk to fetch the wildfowl hame, his lady's ta'en another mate, oh, so we may make our dinner sweet, oh, so we may make our dinner sweet. He'll sit upon his White House bane, and I'll pike out his bonny blue ane, and we'll lock his golden hair, oh, we'll seek our nest when it grows bare, oh, We'll seek our nest when it grows bare. Many a one for him Max moan, but none shall ken where he is gone, or his white bones when they are bare. Oh, the wind shall blow forevermore. Wind shall blow forevermore. Wind shall blow forevermore. Thank you.
Yeah, excellent.
Could you hear the baran all right?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Worked really well.
I just so enjoyed that. Now I kind of have to go and research some more like that. It's like with folk songs, I feel like they're the same as stories. They either decide that they're yours or they're not. That one felt like mine.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Love it.
Love it.
No doubt I'll keep searching for more crows. They're out there. The weird thing was, as I was learning it, right, this massive, big kind of rook, and I know they're rooks because they sometimes circle around my garden, there's lots of them, came onto my bird feeder that has suet balls in it. And like he's the same size as the bird feeder. I was like desperately trying to get it. And I was like, it's a beautiful backdrop. It's a corby trying to have his dinner, but like not quite as gruesome as these ones. But it was nice that he was joining in. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of nice.
Very, very unusual for a rook to be solitary. It's more likely to be a crow.
Well, it's funny because like they do this thing. So like there'll be, so the back of my garden, there's like loads of trees around because there's a thing behind it. So they'll come and there'll be like loads of them and they'll kind of swoop and circle. And then it's like the one guy that's left behind. It's really funny. It's like they'll kind of swoop off and then one guy just go, oh, I'm hungry. I'll have a bit of food before I go. And then he goes and like joins them.
There you go.
Alrighty. I think we are going round again, which means we are back to Baba C, since Pelagie has had to go.
And I just so happen to have a story.
Yeah. Oops. Hang on. I muted you and I meant to unmute you. Hold on. Unmute yourself.
Am I unmuted?
Yes, I pressed the wrong button. Sorry.
So, hey, I can take a hint. Because I was going to say I was going to sing, but after that, no, I used to sing a lot. I stopped singing when my deaf neighbors asked me to stop. So I have some unusual neighbors. My blind neighbors don't like to watch me dance, and my deaf neighbors don't like to hear me sing. But this story, you know, songs too, because songs are stories. But stories are universal. And it never ceases to amaze me how the same story can materialize in different cultures.
Yeah.
Now, as everybody knows, I love the African diaspora, and I love Anansi stories. Well, this story comes from Brazil, and you may have heard me tell the African American or African equivalent of this story, but this story is about how Monkey became Trickster. So, a long time ago is when this story took place. I can actually hold that note longer than that, but I didn't want you guys to fall asleep. So, you see, there was a time, because I don't do a Brazilian accent yet, so I'm going to do a southern accent about a Brazilian story, and the accent's probably going to change back and forth, so pay it no mind. There was a time, see, now this here story come from Brazil, and a long time ago, Brazil emerged with a very rich culture of Africans, indigenous people, and the Portuguese. Or as people in my community say, the Portuguese. But anyhow, that's another story. And Monkey was very well known and very well respected. Now, this is during the time that people didn't have to cook. Why, you may ask? Because they lived surrounded by a huge garden. I mean, it was a vast garden. And in this garden grew every type of fruit, vegetable, shrub, or tree you can imagine. And all people had to do was go up to a tree or bush and ask very nicely if they could have some of its fruit. But you had to ask and you had to be nice. For instance, one day, a antelope, and they don't have antelopes in Brazil, but one day an antelope walked up to a tree and he said, "Oh, Mr. Banana Tree, could I please have some of your bananas?" And the banana tree said, "Why, of course you may. Help yourself, but leave some for someone else." And so the antelope had some bananas. And then a tiger, again, there are no tigers native to Brazil, but see, this is where the rich mixture of heritage come together. And a tiger walked up to a tree and said, "Mr. Watermelon," well, it was a bush. "Mr. Watermelon," it was a vine. "Mr. Watermelon, may I have some of your watermelons?" The watermelon vine said, "But of course you can. Help yourself, but leave some for someone else." And so the tiger ate a lot of watermelons. This is before Tiger discovered meat, but that's another story. And this would go on day in and day out, not to be confused with the hotel chains, but day in and day out this would go on. But there was one tree at the far end of the forest that nobody went to because no one could remember the name of the tree. But the tree had the most beautiful, most sweet-smelling fruit in the whole garden. The fruit smelled so sweet, it made its own honey, and the bees were jealous. Oh, but it just looked so wonderful, and it smelled so wonderful, but no one could remember the name. But there was a little old lady. I don't know why they're always little, but there was a little old lady, maybe 3'4", 4'5", I don't know, who lived on the opposite end of the garden, and it was rumored that she knew the name of the tree. And so Mr. Monkey said, I'm going to just happen to be in the neighborhood, and I think I'll pay her a visit. So Mr. Monkey just happened to be in the neighborhood, came upon Nana's door, and knocked. And she said, "Yes, who is it?" "It's me, Monkey." "Oh, yes, Monkey, please come in." And so Monkey went in. She said, "Monkey, I'm so glad to see you. It's been a long time. Would you like a spot of tea?" Don't ask me where that accent came from. I couldn't tell you. And Monkey said, "Well, yes, now that you mention it, I am rather parched. I would love a cup of tea." And so Nana and Monkey sat down. They talked about this and that and the other thing and the other thing and this and that. And as the day wore on, Monkey said, "Oh, Nana, thank you so much for the tea." "Oh, it's my pleasure. Please come by more often." He says, "Nana, I got to go now, but I need to ask you something. You know that tree at the far end of the garden that nobody seems to get any fruit from?" "Oh, yes, I know that tree quite well." "Well, I was wondering if you could tell me the name of the tree, because I have a hankering. That fruit looks so sweet, and it smells so sweet. You know that the aroma is so sweet it makes its own honey, and the bees are jealous." "Well, I do know the name of the tree, and I'm going to tell you it, so you must lean in closely and listen." And so Monkey leaned in, and she said, "The name of the tree is..." Monkey said, "Okay, I think I got it. The name of the tree is..." She said, "Yes, that's the name of the tree. So when you go to the tree, you must say, 'Hello, Mr. Tree. May I have some of your fruit?'" And I'm quite sure he'd be more than glad to share it. But don't go to the durian tree. You know about that one. The durian tree, oh, it smells so bad. And so he thanked Nana, and he went about his way. And he had his shakere. Now, in the Brazilian story, he plays the guitar. I could play at the guitar, I could hold a guitar, I could show you guitar, but I don't play the guitar. Excuse me. So he walked across the garden singing the name of the tree. And he got all the way to the far end of the garden. And he said, "Hello, Mr. Tree. I can smell your fruit. It smells so sweet. I know you make your own honey, and you know the bees are jealous. But I was wondering if I could have a bite of that sweet, delicious fruit of yours." And the tree said, "Why, yes, of course you may. Help yourself, but leave some for someone else." And so Monkey, so full of joy, grabbed the biggest, juiciest, sweetest smelling piece of fruit he could reach, and he took a great big bite. And Monkey ran all the way to the stream, and he kept drinking and drinking, trying to wash that nasty, foul taste out of his mouth, because as beautiful and as sweet smelling as that fruit was, it tasted bad. It tasted worse than durian fruit smells. And if anybody knows about durian fruit, you know it smells. And he washed his mouth out and washed his mouth out and washed his mouth out. Some say he went home and had but I'm not going to say that. So finally, when he had gotten that nasty taste out of his mouth, Monkey was saying, "You know, I should not be the only one to taste that fruit." So he went around and he told the tiger, he told the lion, he told the bears, oh my, he told the giraffes, he told the turtles, he told everybody about that one. He told them the name of that beautiful tree that had all that beautiful fruit that smelled so sweet, and it made its own honey, and the bees were definitely jealous. And so one by one they went off and they said, "Hello, Mr. Tree, may I have some of your fruit?" And of course the tree said, "Well, yes, you may. Help yourself, but leave some for somebody else." And one by one, all the other animals in the garden took a big bite of that sweet smelling, delicious looking fruit, and they all went, and they all drank water to wash that taste out of their mouth. Some went home and had but I'm not saying what it was. And finally got that nasty taste out of their mouth. And the monkey was up in a tree laughing and laughing and laughing. He laughed so much he almost fell out of his tree, and he was thankful he had a tail, because his tail caught around a branch, and he kept laughing. And to this day, people don't trust Monkey. To this day, Monkey is known as the trickster. Now, your word is supposed to be more valuable than gold. Your word can often get you things that money cannot buy. But trust is a difficult thing to build, and once lost, is almost impossible to regain. So think about that before you decide to prank someone or to trick someone. Oops, I stepped on a pin, the pin bent, and that's the way that story went. Asante.
Thank you. I love that story. I used to tell that years ago. I love it when someone tells a story that I used to tell and I'd forgotten about. And I love that
Yes,
moment of like
yes.
monkey watching and all the different animals. And I used to do it with really little kids and said, no one remembers the name of the fruit, so we're going to make it up. And I used to get them to make different bits of the word, and then I used to try and have to remember the entire word for going across. Oh, I
Well,
love it.
I like not saying the name of the fruit because it
Yeah.
leaves it to the imagination. But
Yeah.
there is a version where they actually tell you the name. It's a long name, and you
Yeah.
have to play the guitar. And I don't play the guitar.
Yeah.
I tried it with the drums. It's not quite the same. But anyhow, it's one Brazilian story. I've heard it told. I think from India,
Yeah.
parts of Indonesia, and throughout Africa, and of course here in the United States is an African American tale.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
love it,
Exactly.
especially when they populate the story with creatures and things that don't exist in that particular country or culture.
Yeah, there was definitely an elephant or two in mine, which I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm sure
yeah.
were
And
never in Brazil.
I usually put an elephant in the story. Yeah, but elephants and tigers and bears. Oh my! Well, they might
Yeah.
have bears, but they don't have tigers and they don't have elephants.
No, exactly. Ah, love it. Oh, so good to hear that again. I love that. Okay, we are going round again, which means Norman, we're back to you. And you did say you had another tale for us, didn't you?
I do have another story. Yeah,
Fabulous.
it's funny because that story you just told kind of wanders off in two different directions, in which the name of the tree is learned by the animals, and then they have to remember it. And I hadn't heard about the part of making up a name of the tree. That's cool. And but and also, this is not the story I'm telling, but the story from China, in which the children have to say the name over and over again: Tiki Tiki Temple No Sarambo Cherry Berry Ruchi Peri Pembo.
Nice.
And of course, you get the kids to repeat it.
Norman, you know what I
Yes.
like about stories from China? You have to dish them out.
Uh, I'm sure you do. Okay, then, since I don't, I'm thinking of the next story. I don't have a proper response.
Not
But
every
anyways,
not every
this
pun deserves or is entitled to a retort.
And I'm not sure that pun deserved one.
It doesn't.
It's a bit crockery to think
well,
of that.
this story comes from a group of children. Once upon a long time ago, there was a hospital. There's a hospital for children called the Hugh McMillan Center. And outdoors in the grounds of that hospital were beautiful old trees, the wind blowing, the birds flying. Sometimes the birds were red, and other times they were black, and sometimes they were blue. And it was called the Spiral Garden. Now, one day, to that garden there came a huge egg. It was the size of a Winnebago van, whatever that is. And the children came to that huge egg, and they wanted what's in the egg, because it hadn't hatched. It was made out of canvas and wood, and there was something in it, but they didn't know. And so, to make a long story short, there was something. The children went exploring. They looked into the egg, and they followed the visions that they saw inside. Some saw huge animals, some birds, etc., and they went on a journey, and that made up a story about all those creatures that they found, and they painted the story of those creatures on the egg, and at the end of that story, the egg hatched. Now, and out of the egg, there came a huge dragonfly, and the dragonfly flew in the trees for for years afterwards. But that's another story. And so the egg was now covered with these strange symbols and petroglyphs, and it was big enough to be a small hut. It's hard to separate the facts from the fiction, but all these bits and pieces are true. That little hut became a gathering place for the children, and the children at the children's hospital, some were in wheelchairs, and some were crutches, and some just ran around, and they all had fun. They all played in their own way, but this time they were gathering in the hut, which was the former egg, which was once a dragonfly. And I'm getting away from my story, aren't I? And so they were in the hut, and they're talking amongst one another, the children, and they said, "We have a problem here in the garden. Something has been eating the vegetables in our garden. They nibble at them, they chew at them, and they're spoiling our garden. We got to do something about it." And so they went out, and they found out it was the animals from a nearby ravine. Oh, those animals. So they hauled the animals in and said, "Animals, you have been eating the vegetables in our garden, and you have to stay away from our vegetables." The animals said, "But we like your vegetables. You planted them, that's true, but now we like them so much, we don't want to stop eating the vegetables. And the children said, well, now you have to stay away. Hold it, the animal said. You said this is a garden for everyone. And the children looked at one another, and they looked at the adults, and they looked at one another, and they admitted, yeah, this garden is for everyone, even animals that eat our vegetables. Well, then we have to we'll have to think of something. And the people said, we have an idea. We'll kick the animals out. You can go back to the ravine where you came from. Go back where you come from, said the animals. But we like it in the garden. We love the vegetables you grow here. You have wonderful sculptures of animals and birds and some really peculiar things that they have made. They're beautiful things. We don't want to leave. Okay, then the children conferred back and forth, and they talked to the animals. And he says, okay, animals, you can stay in the garden, but you have to go to a part of the garden that we don't use. It's way over there. You can stay there and don't bother us. Now, the animals replied. He said, but if that's a place you don't want to be, what makes you think we want to go there? We want to stay here in the garden with the rest of you. And the children said, oh, bother. I heard that in England once. Bother. You can put a lot into that word. And so the children realized they had a problem. And one of the children who was going by and stuck her head inside the big tent or the big egg said, you've been arguing about about the garden and about the land and the place, and has anybody asked the plants what they think of the matter? And the animals, and they turned, and the children said, she's right. And so they sent a child out to go and talk to the plants and the vegetables and find out what they think. And when they came back from talking to the vegetables and the plants of the garden, they said, the child said, well, the plants and the vegetables have given us their report. And they said, you know what? You all eat us and plant us and take care of us. Why don't you go and share? And they thought, that's a very good idea. But everyone has to give a gift of some sort. And so the animals thought for a while, we will give the gift of protection and vigilance to protect the garden. And the children said, we'll give a gift of a big sculpture, because we have lots of those and we like making them. And the plants and the vegetables in the garden, they said, well, we'll do what we've always done. We give ourselves for food and for shade and all sorts of things. And that's okay, because we'll come back again. They always plant us. There's always more where we come from, as long as we're taken care of. And so the animals and the children, and children had a great festival. And that fall of that year, they made music and songs and stories. They made a special sculpture just for the garden. And to tell the truth, I wish I could remember what it looked like, but I think it looked a lot like a big egg. And the music and the stories continued, because as long as they're children, as long as there is a garden, as long as people remember to take care of the earth, there'll always be children, even the ones who need healing in the hospital. There'll always be room for the children and the animals. As long as we remember, there's room for everybody. And that is the end of my story. Or perhaps I'm a little muddled these days. It is the beginning of my story.
Oh, that was beautiful. Thank you. And Devon is a fox now, one of your animals in the story.
There was a fox. That's where the garden started.
Yeah.
Did you know about that?
See,
No,
Devon is now. What are you
many years
now?
ago, he found a fox sitting on the grass, and
Yeah.
that's where he said, "That's where I'll start the spiral." That's a
Beautiful.
that
See?
Yes, Justine, I
that
have a
is a
little.
true bit of the story. It's hard to separate the truth from the rest of it.
That's all the best stories. Yeah.
Justine,
Yes.
why did the successful baker keep going to the bank?
The successful baker keep going to the bank.
Yes,
I don't know. Why did the successful baker keep going to the bank?
because he needed more dough.
Very well done. More puns. Okay, how are we doing? We have a little bit of time left. So, David, you are next. I'm coming to you next. Do you have something else to share, my dear?
Sure thing, yeah.
Oh,
Got a couple of possible songs, but I think in view of Justin's Crow song, I'm glad you got what I sent you. You've done your research. I've got a song about a black crow,
yay!
and why not?
Black Crow.
More cries.
There's a black crow sitting in an old dead tree. I looked at him and he looked at me. Where are you going to dine today? Thought I'd try the motorway. Black crow in the neighborhood, it's an ill wind blows nobody good. Black crow in the neighborhood, it's an ill wind blows nobody good. Little girl lost in town today. Man in a big car took her away. Mother's grief and a father's rage. Copy for a good front page. Black crow in the neighborhood, an ill wind blows nobody good. Black crow in the neighborhood, it's an ill wind blows nobody good. Hungry farmer tends his fields, praying for a better yield. If the junkie pays the price, means his kids can eat some rice. Black crow in the neighborhood, it's an ill wind blows nobody good. Black crow in the neighborhood, it's an ill wind blows nobody good. I'm a working hard on a prison farm. I ain't never done no man no harm, for I have to tend the orange trees, 'cause we all like our vitamin C. Black crow in the neighborhood, it's an ill wind blows nobody good. Black crow in the neighborhood, it's an ill wind blows nobody good. The strangest picture I've ever seen, a blood-red sun in a field of green. How much did that cost? I cried. About 1,000,000 human lives. Black crow in the neighborhood, it's an ill wind blows nobody good. Black crow in the neighborhood, it's an ill wind blows nobody good. And the wind shall blow for evermore. Oh, the wind shall blow for evermore.
Thank you. Fabulous. Can't get enough Crow songs, can you?
Indeed, you certainly can't. That was
David,
written
where are
by
you
Maggie
located?
Holland.
David,
Cool.
where are you located geographically?
I am in Yorkshire in England.
Okay, I had to ask because that I'm trying to recall, but the song you sang reminded me of something. It related so much to the African American experience in the United States, and I
Oh
was
yeah.
listening, and I'm like, that could be a song that was sung in code to to convey something that you could not convey as straight up truth. But
Mm.
that I had goose pimples.
Mm.
I mean, I've had duck pimples before, but I had goose pimples this time. And so, thank you very much.
That's
Ooh,
beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah.
you touched my ancestral soul. Thank you.
Yeah. Lovely stuff.
You got a great
Ah,
way with words, Baba C.
has
Thank you.
indeed. If we're coming round again, Jevon, do you have anything else to share with us?
I mean, last year I was
Oof.
I played keyboards on a live album by Richard Townend and the Mighty Bosscats,
Mm.
and there's one of the tracks on it was called John Crow.
Yay! More Crow songs.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was about a guy, wasn't it? Yeah, I forget John Crow. To be honest, I didn't get round to really taking in the lyrics. I had 5 weeks to learn 17 original songs,
Wow.
which was quite a feat.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube. If anyone's interested, I can put the link up.
Yeah, I do.
I will do. I'll play a song first though. I might have played this one years ago to you, Justine, but I think it's quite
I'm
a
always up for
memory.
your greatest hits, Jevon.
Well, this is my brother's greatest hit. He wrote this. Close your eyes and let the darkness fall around you. Drift away, may all your sweetest dreams surround you. Let nothing alarm you, you've nothing to fear. No one's gonna harm you as long as I'm here. As long as I'm here. Warm tired tears distort the shadows on the wall. Moonlight beams succumb to sleep and drown the whole. Let nothing alarm you, you've nothing to fear. No one's going to harm you as long as I'm here. As long as I'm here. Stars may slice, darkness falling. Hours may break, the silence fall. Pay no heed, your dreams are yours and yours alone.
Oh, that was
Lullaby.
The one,
beautiful.
Jevon.
I love that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's made me nice and sleepy now. That feels like a good place to end it, do we think?
Sure thing. Yeah.
That's the idea of that song. It's a
Oh,
lullaby.
I feel
Yeah.
like cooking a
beautiful.
candlelight dinner.
I had to stay to hear everybody. That's been great. It's been a really wonderful session, Justin.
Oh, it has.
Thanks
It's been gorgeous.
Thanks everybody, and
Thank you.
I'll see you next month.
I'll
Okay.
see you next month, guys.
David, especially thank
Thanks
you.
for the music.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank everybody.
Parish notices before I forget. This Friday on the World Storytelling Cafe, you've got Colin Irwin doing Stories for Children at 6 o'clock UK time. Also, Young International Tellers. So if you know any young storytellers, that is this Saturday. I think it's a 10 o'clock start, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
10
10
o'clock.
o'clock. That
10
means I
o'clock
got to be
start.
up at 3 o'clock.
Oh my goodness.
Because at my time it'll be 5 o'clock. But I've
Okay.
got to get up, have breakfast, do my morning, all that kind of.
Do all your stuff.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah.
So 10 o'clock if you can be here on Saturday UK time or
AM.
whatever time it is yours. AM. The next worldwide story round with Mike Rust is on Sunday the 15th at 6, and then we are back here with Tales and Tunes on the 1st of April. So maybe we will have some foolish tales
Ooh.
and tunes for April Fool's Day.
I don't like April Fool's Day.
Do you not?
I don't. And I tell people I am not the one to pull April Fool's pranks on. I am not the one.
Trouble with April Fool's
Yeah.
Day, the spaghetti harvest always fails, doesn't it?
That's just,
We have time for a very short crow poem.
Shall we end with a crow poem? That feels like a good place, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. A
So,
crow poem
this-
to send us off.
you guys know that crow and ravens, but especially crows, were a euphemism referring to African Americans in the United States. And that's why all the crow songs and chants and poems resonate, especially with me.
Yeah.
But
Well-
yeah, I'm just tossing that out there. Go ahead, Norman. I'm gonna be quiet.
There was a crow in the tree, listening to the shepherd pipe below. Oh, sweet music, sweet, sweet music, said Crow, dancing from claw to claw to claw, and suddenly the howl of a wolf. Off ran the shepherd, down dropped the flute, and lay on the ground, shining. Down like a black rag flew Crow, pecked at the flute. Silence. Eyed the flute. Silence. Pecked at the flute even more. Still silence. And off flew Crow. Isn't that like a human? Isn't that like the greedy human to take all that sweet music and leave nothing for me?
Oh.
Oh,
Thank you. Cool. Thank you so much, guys. Hopefully I will see you next month, or if not, before on the World.
Wonderful. Yes, thank you, everyone.
Oh, and the link
Yeah.
is in the chat if anyone needs it. Lovely stuff. Okay. Thank you. And thank you, Keith, for being here and listening. And I'm sorry you weren't well enough to tell, but it was really lovely to have your presence here. And anyone else that was listening on Facebook and anyone else that's watching us on Catch Up, we will see you all next time. Thank you very much. Good night, gentlemen.
good afternoon, everybody.
Wherever you are in the
You
world.
take care, Keith. Get well quicker
care.
rather than sooner. I mean, sooner rather. You know what I mean, Keith. Get well.
Take care, guys.
Justine, this has been most pleasurable. I'm glad my schedule opened up, so I
I'm
could do
glad
this.
it did. Come and join
Because-
us next time.
I will do my best. Wednesdays is a little iffy for me, but I will do my best to be here. Yeah, I mean, yay! Hey, don't forget to thank
Waleed!
Waleed
Thank
for
you,
spoiling the
Waleed.
Thank you,
magic.
Waleed,
Carpet.
We couldn't do it without you, Waleed.
No. So thank you.
Goodbye.
And you, yeah.
Let's
We
let
gotta
him
get
get
him to tell a
home.
story. Waleed can tell stories too.
Yeah, I bet. He's heard enough.
But he's like a turtle. You got to pull him out of his shell. Well, not too far, but yeah.
Take care,
All right.
guys. I'm going to go. See you later.
Everybody take care. Until the next time. To be
Till
continued.
next time. Bye.
And remember, never forget.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Take care, my friend.
And you, my friend. I'll see you.
All right. See you the next time.
Bye-bye.
Tutunana baka hanane. Until the next time. I think that's Swahili.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. Wouldn't have a clue. Bye.
Take care. All right. C, out